Hey people, it's a match video. You already know that. Vortex Shootout is a match I'd love to go to every year. It's held outside of Austin, Texas, and this year I did the two-gun division. I have a few thoughts about the two-gun division I want to talk about up front. It was a super fun way to shoot the match, and I'm really grateful that they offered it. I would do it again in two-gun division in a heartbeat. I fly to this match, and not having to pack a shotgun and the related shotgun loading gear or source shotgun ammo on site just saved me a ton of time and money. It was a super unique way to shoot the match because, unlike other divisions in three-gun, like PCC or 2x4, they did PCC in this match, two-gunner had to opt into pistol. They had to opt into pistol for all the non-rifle targets. Whereas like PCC division, which is another option heavy division, would probably opt into a different stage plan customized to their strengths. The downside of shooting two-gun is more than any other division, you were shooting a much different match than the other three gunners because you didn't have a shotgun, and that really affected your stage plans. And sometimes that was easier, and sometimes that was harder. But for sure, it was different. It also meant that comparing yourself against your past performances in years past, that when you were shooting other equipment divisions really wasn't possible. You were just doing something completely dissimilar to what you were doing last year. I'll probably mention other stuff on the relevant stages. Showing these in the order I shot them, I actually shot stage 3. It was actually probably my favorite stage of the match. The rifle part was actually really fun and offered a little flexibility to the shooter in choosing to take targets either standing or while moving. And the pistol part became all about throttle control. You wanted to keep moving, but not move so aggressively that you couldn't hit the fairly small targets that were, all to your sides. It finishes up with pistol at like 50-ish yards, give or take. Stage 4 starts with pistol steel and a swinger at a pretty good distance. I did get that swinger. Out before transitioning to some stationary targets and then rifle. The targets I was shooting with pistol were shotgun targets for the other divisions. I actually screw up kind of big here on the rifle because in two-gun division, you're basically unrestricted on gear. You're in open division just with two guns. So I could borrow a bag, which I did, to stabilize myself on this rifle part here, especially for the first prop. They're shooting off a rock. But I was told it had to be attached to the gun. I wasn't used to it being attached to the gun, and when I take the rifle out of the barrel, I spend some time messing with the bag and trying to get it in my hands, and I completely overrun the shooting position. Like an idiot. After the first shooting position from the rock, you run past some run-and-gun rifle, which is always fun, and engage some targets from a ladder prop. I choose to shoot this one from the ladder prop you'll see from the top rung, and that was a bad idea. It probably should have went one rung down and really loaded into the prop, put my weight into it, because it was wobbly as hell on the top of it. But the prop was sturdy and could handle you leaning into it. I just needed to do that. Anyway, I get through the stage a little embarrassed and having shot way too many times.
Orange, orange. Top one. Good.
Stage 5 was pretty fun for two-gun. The gimmick here was that you had to carry your slung rifle through the stage. I'm happy that I remembered all my pistol stops. The pistol went well for me. I mostly chose to shoot the target arrays from stops and not on the move here because of how many of them disappeared or couldn't be seen through trees. And I didn't have to switch to shotgun, just more pistol before you had to unsling your rifle and shoot another pile of targets. I was happy I kept my rifle slung super loose and accessible, and I'm happy that I remembered to tuck my hearing protection cord into my shirt on the front side so my sling wouldn't pull them out, which is something that's happened to me before when slinging a rifle. The final rifle prop for tall shooters like me is a tree that you could just get locked in and not engage targets if you approach incorrectly, like if you locked in the wrong direction. in the V of the tree, you wouldn't be able to turn your gun. But I approached it correctly, and I was able to shoot the targets with pretty minimal trouble. Still, this was a stage with like a good shotgun technique. You didn't have to slow down much at all to get hits near there and near the end there. So those guys did great. There's a few match DQs on these stage. If I had to guess, probably near the end left-hand turn for like a 180 violation before you go on to rifle, which is unfortunate, but got to be careful, people. Stage 6, day number 2, just past daybreak, was normally an all-shotgun stage, but for two gunners, this was a mandatory all-pistol steel extravaganza. This was really, really fun to shoot with pistol because of how much this stage was about throttle control and sticking to a stage plan. You could see many targets from multiple positions further away or closer, so you were tempted to take those slower shots when you could first see the targets, but if you didn't and you kept to a more complicated plan, it would pay off. It was very fun to shoot this because you were sprinting a few steps, slowing down to get a walk to it, get your few hits, fast again, slow again, so on and so forth. However, I will say this, the great shotgunners just blew through this stage, and the great open division shotgunners in particular could just burn this one down. They didn't have to stop moving. It was, yeah. Stage 7, I had my only penalties in the match. I was hoping my goal for this match was to shoot it with no penalties at all. And once again, I barely failed that. I picked up almost three penalties here. You'll see the almost three at the end, which was like a neutral makeup shot by me. One of them was early in these rifle paper targets where I had just one hit and the other one was on a pistol target at the end of the stage. I think this was the worst stage, my worst stage in the match because of those misses, which cost me like 10 overall percentage points just with those misses. The rifle shots were deceptively difficult on the front end here, and the pistol shooting was set up to force mag changes and allow you to walk past targets. But I think this was a really fun stage, the pistol part especially. By the way, you were allowed to run this one all rifle, all pistol, or do the split that I did. I liked my plan to swap, and I stand by it, but I do think that the back half of the stage would have been really fun as hell to run with rifle too. So I'd love a chance to run this one again, just with less misses. Love that miss at the end. It's fun. Stage 8, had a bit of a fumble here on 8 because, as you'll see up front, I had to hit some of these steel targets like multiple times, get them to go down. This kind of got to me because I could see that sometimes I was like triple or like quad tapping the steel in the scoring zone to actually get the damn thing to fall, and that just like broke my mental plan. I think I even said something on the clock. I was feeling butthurt about that afterwards, but I actually genuinely felt better about it after reading the rules, which specifically say that they will not calibrate targets. You can't do a calibration call. I felt better about this because two reasons. One, I tell myself the other shooters probably also have targets that won't fall, which might even be true because these things can shift and lean further forward into their lean throughout the days, so they generally kind of get a little bit worse. And two, I felt that I was going to be a pain in the ass by calling for a calibration and finding out that there just is no calibration. Took that decision out of my hands, and I actually just felt better. No joke. That may be odd to hear for some of my USPSA audience, but I stand by it. I hate to be that guy, and no, I can't be. Anyway, the front half of the stage was shotgun for everyone else, and the back half was pistol, including some far pistol shots at the very end, somewhere around 75, 100 yards, somewhere around that. Not sure. I actually feel all right about the stage. It was super physical with the mountain trail, but I don't like how easy it was to hurt yourself here if you fell. Little dangerous. Stage 9 was the long-range all-rifle stage, and this was a hell of a stage. The majority of the targets here were between 400 and 550 yards. a few around 300 and the furthest few being around 600 to 670 yards. I borrowed a bag to shoot off of. Thank you, Greg. And I'll mention up front, I did pretty dang well here. I got 12th overall, but the guy who got first place just absolutely destroyed the grading curve and did it in like 70 seconds. No one else even got close. Anyway, there was significant left to right wind for all the targets beyond 300 yards. I'm having to hold at least 1 to maybe like 3 targets to the left to get hits. This match allows coaching, so your friends calling yards or to target or my misses, which were almost all entirely wind related. I'm shooting Hornady 75 grain ammo here, which is my go-to ammo that is cheap enough and decent enough. Hornady Frontier 75 grain. I have a 1-8 Collins Gen 2 on my rifle with their 3GR reticle. So with that reticle, I don't have numbers on my drops. So instead, I'll flash up my wrist card here that I was wearing. You'll see that I just go off yardages and rounding to the nearest scope reference point, where I'm saying that like a target, and then little bar 1 or dot 2 or big bar 2 or whatever. It works for me, but something with like reference numbers and numbered stadia drop points might be a bit faster.
575.
Left half target. Oscar.
595.
Lima.
600.
Mike.
613.
Papa.
670.
Claire.
Stage 1 was another very fun stage that started in my case with pistol. Other people would be shotgun. Goes to the middle there with 100-yard pistol shots. Would have been shotgun slugs for other people. Before a left style array of pistol that I pulled a real G move on to avoid a 180 break. And ending with a rifle that I think was like 300 or 400 yard max. I shot this one sloppy as hell with standing reloads and other bad things, but I ran fast to almost kind of not really make up for it at all. It all really fell apart with the middle pistol array and my ending rifle. I was just sloppy and pulling shots in all the wrong places because I was paranoid about wind. But that one-handed pistol was pretty fucking baller. Oh, I think the reason I was having a pistol failure, I had a failure to feed here, maybe somewhere else in the match, I forgot to talk about it. It's probably magazine related. My guns were extremely full of fine moon dust at this point, and I don't clean that shit till after the match.
On the left. Right edge. Right edge. Low right. No call. Right edge.
Stage 2, the ending stage, was a plain and simple drag race. Honestly, I think people were a little disappointed in this stage because people come to Vortex for like these wonderful natural terrain stages with like 5-minute par times. And this was fun for an extremely quick stage. I was a bit sloppy and threw some misses, and every makeup shot being pretty catastrophic here. And my handgun is not taking full advantage of open division capacity, so I have a reload. Still fine, but maybe not really seen as like a real stage, if that makes sense, my performance aside. Closing thoughts, I did pretty well, and I'm happy with myself. I feel like I had 3 stages, 1, 7, and 8, that I have some regrets on in any fashion, and for a physically demanding 3-day match, that's pretty good. I'll mention that the reason I'm saying this is like a physically demanding match, maybe to make that clear, is that you have to walk through and reset the targets on the stage for all the other shooters in your shooting squad. So you'll cover a whole lot of steps going up and down these trails all weekend. Anyways, came off the prize table with some good stuff and a trophy, and more importantly, I got to go to Texas and hang out with my friends for several days. If you're one of the people I keep trying to talk into doing this, I hope you do it one day, because this is still my favorite match, period. All right, see you later.